Greetings, weary traveler. Welcome to the Reaction Sleepover, or welcome back if you've been here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. This is the series where we get cozy and we react to stuff. And I'm so excited today because I'm reading stories completely submitted by you guys, so thank you so much for that. And if you want to submit a story, there's a link to a Google form below in the description. I would love to read your stories. It could be about wedding stuff, it could be about something silly that happened, other entitled behavior you've seen, whatever you want. The sleepover is all about sharing stories and having fun. So be sure to grab your cozies and snackies, and let's head on into it. This story comes from Rose, and the title of the story is My Wedding Planner Walked Out on Our Rehearsal Dinner. Splendid. Gotta love when someone you paid to do their job just goes, nah, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna tell you about the time my wedding planner walked out on our rehearsal dinner, which she was supposed to direct. Go on. The wedding party had arrived early. This was their first time seeing the venue, but I had been there a few days before. It was this beautiful outdoor space with a large bamboo plants shading the entire spot, a view of the water and boats just sailing in the distance. It was gorgeous. And she poked her head in and went, "Hey, I'm leaving. Good luck." You're like, "What? But I paid you! Come back here! Come back here, you little weasel!" A little background before I continue. One of my bridesmaids and my maid of honor were both from out of town. I hadn't seen them in years, and they were both like sisters to me. I'm standing under the bamboo with the two girls from out of town, just gushing about how excited I am, how perfect this area is, how I'm so happy to see them after so long. My wedding planner shows up. A few minutes late, no biggie. She walks over to where we are, says nothing. Just, "Hey, how's it going?" Is she okay? Just staring into your soul. I tried to not blink. It didn't work out. She gives me a small hug and, okay, so some contact, and just continues to stand there with a smile on her face while we continue to gush at each other. Okay. Like, do you think you're at a zoo or something? Observing the bride and her bridesmaids? The bridal party in their natural habitat. She still says nothing. Absolutely nothing? I fear what her thoughts are. Then just turns around and walks away. Maybe she was just a robot this whole time and she just malfunctioned and just had to leave. Just 3PO went wrong. Yes, I would love to help you with your wedding. It only costs your immortal soul. Bride's like, what? You're like, nothing. Let's continue. You're like, this is what I get for finding a wedding planner on Craigslist. I didn't think anything of it until my dad. I didn't think anything of it until my dad walked over and says, planner name just left, and she's upset. I have questions. She didn't come back. I don't need sleep, I need answers. My dad ended up having to direct the rehearsal dinner. He did an amazing job, and he was used to directing people this way, thankfully. Even though the person I literally paid just left. After she was standing there smiling. Like, if something was going on in her, like, personal life or something, valid, but, like, maybe say something before you just leave? I'm believing my theory even more that she's just a robot and she just malfunctioned. She ended up apologizing to me at the wedding for walking out, but it's still a little odd to me. Just a little. I'm curious if she told you the reason for it. Was she, like, mad at you or something? So many, just what? What happened here? Because, again, let's posit that she had something like sudden happen in her personal life. You communicate, madam. You cannot just provide a service and then just not provide the service anymore. Like, you have a job to do. Do the job, please. That's very odd. I'm glad it worked out. That's so weird. I'm just gonna go with my conspiracy. Don't mind me, you're gonna find Amanda in the corner somewhere. Like, she was a robot! You're like, Amanda, you've been here for 3 days. Can you eat something? So thank you, Rose. That was fun. Next! This is titled, Dating a Sex Worker. I don't know if YouTube will get mad at this word, so yes. And as far as I'm aware, it's a more correct, more respectable to say sex worker. So set the scene. I'm 16 at the time of this story, and so is the guy, who we'll call A. Is it set in Pretty Little Liars? Did anyone watch that show? I did, and then it just kept going and going. So I stopped watching it. It did interest me for a time, though. We're both educating at the time of this story, and I was reminded of the story the other day because of a post about a relationship on Facebook. It should be said that where I am in the world, having a sexual relationship at 16 is allowed, so nothing happened in the story was illegal. Good to know. Let's get to the story. So as I said, I went to class with A, who came to me one day and asked me for relationship advice. I of course said I wouldn't mind helping, but that he should keep in mind that I hadn't been in one before. Like, yes, I am the sage of relationships. Don't look at my credentials. They don't matter. I am the sage. Although how funny would that be if like someone was like made it their job to like give relationship advice? No one knowing that they have no experience at all. People ask, "What are your credentials?" And they're like, "I know things." I am secretly the avatar of relationship advice. I may not have the knowledge, but all my previous lives do. So, yes, tell me your problem. He asked me what to do because his girlfriend broke up with him for the 19th time. That's a lot of times. How unstable. And I looked at him confused at first. It didn't say anything because I honestly didn't know how to word it. I would be a little befuddled as well. Like, what do you even do in that situation? Yeah, so they broke up with me for the 19th time. And like, hang on, back up a moment. What do you mean the 19th time? That's a lot of times, my dude. Are you okay? He must have spotted my confusion and explained further that this girl was a sex worker who he had done it with and then fallen in love with. That would be a little confusing. Oh, that would be so rough. Like, clearly, they like want to have the relationship, but like it gets in the way of their work. That would be hard. This sounds like a great Hallmark movie. Falling for You. I would watch that. They then started dating after he slept with her, but he was unsure how to keep her around. He also said that she was still doing her job, and he didn't really mind, but it felt like something was wrong with him because she had broken up with him 19 times now. That's cool that he was like fine with it, because that would probably be kind of confusing for both parties. Like, it's kind of a unique situation, especially how they met. What a story to tell the kids. Their small child comes waddling to them like, "How are babies made?" They're like, "Let me tell you how I met your mom." Because it's very relevant. I told him I didn't think he should date someone who would break up with him not only once, but so many times. Yeah, like without the background information, just regardless of what's going on, someone breaking up with you that many times and like getting back with them, it's like, is it really worth it at that point? Because man, because you should be with someone who wants to be with you. Like, be with someone that chooses you. Don't put up with indecisiveness. You're worth more than that. And how it sounds like she's trying to use him in some way. He told me I was wrong and that this was true love, which I chose not to say anything because I felt like he already knows what I would say. In my mind, there is no way that's love, and for years I thought that was the case. I mean, yeah, we don't really have any other information on how we feel, although it is funny of like, give me advice of what to do. I don't know if you should be with this person. No, it's true love. Like, regardless of what's going on, it's kind of like, why did you ask me then? It's definitely a rough situation though. The other day I was scrolling through Facebook and noticed A had gotten into a relationship with a woman who looked like a model. And for a moment I was just happy for him, and then I thought about it again and decided to look into their older Facebook posts, and it looks like he's back together with her after 10 years. So either he was right and it was true love, or he's back in the rabbit hole. In more ways than one, if you catch my drift. Hard to say. I hope he is happy. I hope they are happy, because that is definitely a unique situation to meet someone. My thoughts are definitely like, you should be with someone who wants to be with you. And if someone is indecisive about you, they may not be right for you. So I certainly hope it worked out for him. But I definitely see where you're coming from of like, 19 times. It's a lot. This story comes from SeasonSector, and his Twitch link is below in the description, so go check him out. This is what I like about reading other people's stories too, because if they want credit, like, we can support each other. It's cool. I just wanted to read a book. I can feel the exasperation already. I'm a guy. This is important to the story. Noted. And this happened in 9th grade, 2011. I was 14, and it was English class. I was reading a book. Makes sense. It It was a romance book I found in the school library. I saw the book, read the back, thought it sounded interesting, and checked it out. This reminds me of a story. Sorry to get off topic for a little bit. I remember in elementary school, there was the librarian. I wanted to check out a book. I don't remember what it was, but it was like higher than my reading level. And I brought it up to her all excited. And I was like, here, I want this one. And she looked me in my hopeful, excited little face, opens up the book, points at 5 words, tells me to read them. And either I genuinely couldn't read them or it was anxiety, because that's a thing. But I couldn't read them, and then she didn't let me have the book. How dare you squash my interest in reading this book? Like, whatever if I can't read it. You won't even let me try. Never forget you, mean library lady. I'm sure she's fine. That story just makes me very salty. I just wanted to read. Anyway, back to the story. Now that I'm matching the spiteful energy, let's go. So I get to the English class, pull out the book, and started reading it. I figured English class was the best place to read a book. Turns out, I was wrong. What else am I supposed to do, sir? The purpose of this class is to encourage me to be literary. What do you want from me? Want me to go outside and eat some dirt? I'll do it. The teacher saw what I was reading and asked me about the title, and he said, "Why are you reading that?" Why not? And I politely replied, I saw the book, I thought it looked interesting, and I checked it out. This is how this works, teacher. And what he said next, I never would have expected from a teacher. Tell me. He said, and I quote, "You're a guy and should be reading masculine things, not romance books." How sad. The fact that he thinks that romance books are only for girls. It's like, excuse me, sir, can you go project your wounded masculinity somewhere else? I'm just trying to enjoy a book here. It does not matter if you are a girl, a guy, other identifying person, because you are valid too. It does not and it should not matter if you are a guy and wants to read a romance novel. I feel like someone who is truly secure in their masculinity would not have a problem with this. Has more to say about you than me, sir. I'm just reading a book. Misogyny at its finest. Lovely. So I replied, masculine things like what? Sports Illustrated? And he said yes, to which I just ignored him and continued reading. Good for you. He just like continues throwing a tantrum. He's like throwing Sports Illustrated books at you and you're like, stop! You must be masculine. It's okay and encouraged to be interested in that like genre because as we unfortunately know, there are many guys out there who could learn a thing or two about being romantic and overall just being a better person. And a lot of that can start at things like this, like if you have an interest in reading something romantic, why not? Like it's a good thing to have interest in that because need I really say more? He's just in the background like yelling while you're just vibing. You're supposed to be reading masculine books. Dumb girly books. Lame and some. It's a great story. Honestly, good for you for not caring because like that's so dumb to be that like up in arms about a book. Like, okay, romance books are for everyone. This is nothing to be upset about. And like I said, in fact, it's something to be encouraged because like, you know, it's good to have interest in that. Don't squash that. Flash forward a few months, same class this time. I'm reading the sequel to the book mentioned before, and here comes the teacher, marching his butthurt self over there. I have the book sitting on my desk, grabs it, reads the synopsis out loud to the class, and hands me back the book as if to try to shame or humiliate me, which I'm guessing it didn't. In fact, you're like, cool, more people get to know about this story. Any interest? Everyone's like, yeah, I'm interested in that. And the teacher's like, no! Foiled again. This was 12 years ago, and I still remember it to this day. That kind of stuff is so annoying, though, that like, oh, that's for girls, that's for guys. Who cares? If there's an interest in it, don't just like squash it. Like, just let them do their thing. Who is it harming, really? Stop projecting your insecurities onto me. Thank you. And we're going to finish off with when movie moments happen. This story took place when I was 19 and Guy, B, was the same age. I'm still educating and this happened at a workplace, which I'm not particularly proud of, but oh well, no one ever found out. Anyways, me and Guy B were working together and had to go up some hanging metal floors with railings where you could look all the way through it to the bottom concrete floor. And thus fear for your life. I feel like heights are something that when I'm not near high places, I'm like, oh, it's fine. We're totally good. And then I get there and I'm like, take me down now. I say that when I want to like skydive one day, because I do. Skydiving sounds really fun. I was and still am, to an extent, afraid of heights. Yeah, what a great combination. Sometimes you just gotta get whatever job's available though, huh? So kudos to you for dealing with it and doing the job, because any job where you have to like directly face the thing you're afraid of, that's so terrifying. I say that when I'm like doing a job where I'm kind of afraid of big crowds of people. Although, I mean, I'm just talking to a camera, so it's kind of different. Although I thought about doing maybe stand-up one day. I don't think I'd be very good at it for a while, but it's something I'm genuinely interested in. I don't know, that could be cool. Because at the same time, like talking to people and just like, and hopefully making people laugh and giggle, it's one of my greatest joys in life. So I hope you laugh at this, silly goober. I was and still am to an extent afraid of heights, which he thankfully knew. At one point I tripped and fell on my stomach on the metal floor. So my eyes could see through the holes, and I got really scared because the metal started shaking lightly. That's so scary, dude. Like, this would be such a sucky way to go. I think about that whenever I'm in the shower and think like if I ever slipped and fell, and if that's the way I went, people come and see my stupid body just laying there. B helped me up, but I couldn't stop shaking from fright, so he grabbed around me and held me tight. Wait a second. I slowly started to calm down and ended up more as a hug, which turned into a bit of kissing. That is such a movie moment. How romantic. That is such a real thing, like when someone is like freaked out by something, and then like, if you're like close to someone else, it's like that. I wonder if it's the body going like, we almost died, we gotta procreate now. I would not be surprised if like that's a real thing. We ended up going all the way on the toilet that day, and we never spoke of it again. I love how blunt that sentence is. Just like, yeah, it turned into more, and then we never made eye contact again. How romantic. It was my first time. Man, that would be kind of uncomfortable. On the toilet? Movie moment versus reality. Do you ever watch those movies, like romance movies, and you see like the romantic thing happen, and you're like, what happens next? What do they do after that? I feel like this is a good representation of what actually happens. I hope for your first time it was as pleasant as it could be, because dang, I could not imagine on a toilet would be very comfortable. Alright, my dudes, that's gonna be it for today. Remember, if you have any stories, submit them below. I would love to read them, and I appreciate you all very much. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. I love you guys, appreciate you, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!